Welcome
to the J&O Show,
where we talk about
things that we were never told. I'm Jay.
And I'm O.
And now you know.
If you guys are new to our channel, please make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on those post notifications so you can know when we upload. All right. So today, guys, we wanted to talk about something that we didn't really hear much about growing up, but we've been hearing about it more and more lately. I guess because we're in that information age, or I don't know. Our generation just seems to be just spilling all the beans, which I appreciate. And hence the reason why we started this whole channel. Because there's a lot of non-conversation that happens around certain topics that we just really don't have a clue about. And you just kind of fumble your way through and kind of figure it out. And then later on you find out, oh, well, I didn't know that this was a thing. Did you know this was a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah, so today we're actually going to be talking about what happens to a woman's sex drive.
Oh my!
Yeah, what happens to it? Because quiet is kept. It goes. It's just like, why? And like when and like, can we do something about it?
Yeah.
Somebody help a sister out. But but yeah, we were actually watching another young couple.
The Ellises?
Yes.
The Ellises.
I was trying to remember their last name.
They dope. They dope, by the way.
They are pretty dope.
Yeah, they got a YouTube channel. You can check them out.
Yes. They actually had a podcast episode where they were talking about this same thing. And we were just like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
It's not just us. So, and you know, it's comforting to find out that you're not struggling alone. You're not alone. But one of the things that we found interesting to discuss was around this topic are the different factors that kind of play into specifically a woman's sex drive, because it doesn't really seem to affect the men. Although I'm pretty sure that there are some cases with that, but it just seems as though it's an issue for the woman. And
unfair.
Yeah.
Completely unfair.
Totally unfair. Considering the fact that we the ones that got to bear the kids and all that comes in with that. But anyway, yeah, so speaking of kids, that's actually one of the things that was actually mentioned in that particular podcast, the Ellises, they were talking about. And I was just like, that's very true. So what I've noticed personally is, like, after our first child, you know, noticed a little bit of a dip or what have you. And it was just like, it's cool.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But
it was cool for her.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's cool for her.
Yeah. But then when we got to kid number 2, I was just like, oh, somebody. Okay. I'm tired. I really am not there, you know, like, I know it's important and I know that we have to, but I'm just like, you know, we got to work, got to take care of them too, you know, and the work that goes into taking care of them too, and then there's still work, you know, because we still got to take care of us too, you know, so it's just like, it's a lot. And then the mental part of it, just the mental capacity of running a household and you know, work, and if your job is stressful, that's a whole another level, you know, having to deal with that. But then, you know, the well-being of your kids and trying to figure out, like, if you're doing certain things right and if you're doing enough, and just all the different decisions and choices that go in on a day-to-day basis on how to take care of your kids and how to run your household. It's a lot of work, a lot of mental work, a lot of physical work too. But because for women, because everything for us starts in the psyche, is mental when it comes to our sexuality. Well, most women, I know some women it's a little different, but most women, it all tends to start, you know, here. So it's just like, if your mind is spent worrying about kids, worrying about hubby, worrying about the job, worrying about just everything, or what have you, you don't really feel in the mood a lot of times. And that's not something that's widely discussed, or at least I wasn't privy to this information years ago when we first got married. It was kind of a news flash to me. I was just like, oh, I didn't know that was gonna happen. I didn't know that was part of the, because when you're young, you in your 20s, you're just like, hey, party over here.
Wow.
It's totally different as you get older and when you, start bringing children into the picture.
So, yeah.
Really?
That part. We just did some episodes about having children and how that affects decisions concerning like independent women and how they run the house and some of the changes that brings into the house.
Right.
And I would say, okay, so we did a small amount of research, a little bit. We were talking about sex drive, and they were like, first, sex drive is determined by a myriad of factors in your environment, where you are mentally, your mood, your emotional situation, which, all of that together, physical attractiveness to your person, just like things can happen to like just turn it on in the moment and turn it off in a moment. In your 20s, they said that, you're the most fertile then, you're most capable of having sex physically, but you might be a little bit choosier because you have to be a little bit more careful. And then to my surprise, I heard this, but the reasoning that I saw when we did a little bit of research is when you get in your 30s and 40s, that your sex drive goes up a little bit for women, because as their fertility declines, their want for sex increases.
What you talking about, Will?
And they said they've seen in studies that more women have sex more frequently and will have it sooner, like if they're still dating. Like, I guess part of maybe it's they know what they want type of situation, and if they see that they want somebody, is like, I ain't got no time to be wasting all of this thing, I'm trying to go and whatever, and maybe because it's not so, you're entering into the years right before menopause, maybe, you're like, well, it's harder for me to get pregnant. I don't know what's going on there, but for some reason at 30s and 40s they tend to have more sex, and then of course there's a decline after as they go into menopause because of all of the complications physically that come from menopause. So like your physical toll after your 40s is what really is intense. Now I heard that when women, the cougar years, they talk about the cougars. So I heard the cougar years, I used to hear about that, and I didn't really know what to really make of it. I was just like, well, I surely hope that happens to us. When I got married, I was like, that'd be great. Yeah, she just start being freaky when she in her 30s and 40s. I'm gonna be fine with that. I won't have a problem. That's okay. What I will say, in terms of relationships, when it comes to your sexual drive, as usual, have a conversation. Lord, please, put your expectations out there.
But, okay, so not disregarding that or not saying that you shouldn't, because yes, you should. You should always communicate about everything as often as possible. But to Kadeen's point in the podcast of the Ellises that we were talking about, you can have that conversation when you first get together, but you don't know these things. Like you don't know that your sex drive is going to decline after you have kids.
Well, you know now.
Or that
you know now. I'm telling you. I'm gonna help you out. This is how you do it. All right. Even when you first get married, whether you're getting married in your 30s or in your 20s, there's gonna be days that your partner's gonna want to have sex and you're not, for a myriad of reasons. It could be anything. It could be I'm tired. It can be got on my nerves and I ain't trying to. And you might decide to do it. That is how it's going to feel on those days when you don't want to have sex, regardless of your age. Right? You have to learn how, like you and your partner have to be able to communicate to come to some type of agreement.
Right.
It can't be one-sided on either side.
Right.
Women, you can't just sit up there and be on something. Well, I don't feel like having sex, so we ain't gonna have sex. And when I don't want to have sex, we not gonna have sex. Guess what? You'll be first in line to get your divorce. It's all good. If you gotta play it like that, you can keep your attitude and you can be by yourself. It's all good. Men, you can't be like, well, all I know is every time I want some, you just better be ready, girl. You better be ready. I ain't trying to hear all that. You, just like her, you can be first in line at the divorce line, so you can go ahead, you can prepare to be by yourself. There has to be consideration on both sides when it comes to this subject, especially. Neither one of you can be selfish. Both of you have to understand sex is a part of marriage. And I'm just telling you, like, it's so more than just, how do I say it? Because, see, this is a little bit more of a PG channel. But, you know, it's so much more than just the release. There you go. That's a good word. It's so much more than just the release. There's a closeness that happens. And if you ain't getting that closeness when y'all do stuff, y'all gotta have some other conversations, because something going on. If one of you was just releasing and you just like, all right, get off of me, get away, oh my gosh, it's done, okay? You good? You good? Okay. If you doing all of that, then something is there's so much more going on there that y'all gotta talk about. It is proven scientifically and by personal experience that when you do that with your wife and you love her and you guys have a healthy relationship, it promotes closeness. Okay? You're closer, you're more patient with each other, you're more loving, you're more physical, you touch more, you want to be around each other. So I'm just going to tell you flat out, if you're having sex a certain amount of times, whatever amount of times you two decide, it brings you closer. Like there's a reason that's there. It's not just some random thing. You know, there's a reason that's there. And you don't want to get into the point where you're roommates.
Because we talked about that.
Because ain't nobody going to sit there. Ain't nobody going to sit there forever.
Yeah.
I'm going to just be flat about that. Nobody's going to sit there forever. Somebody, if you got a good one, they'll be patient with you. It might even go years. And they just letting you figure it out. But eventually, that joke is going to get old. And especially if they have some type of life awakening where they realize they could die any day. They become a little bit less patient when that comes in there. So, you know, I would just say be considerate. Like, there's a lot that's going to happen to you over life. When you're spending your life with something, there's so much that can happen. There could be a drastic change to your personality and everything. And we're not advocating for you going in and having sex and y'all pissed off at each other. That ain't gonna work. Well, actually, no. Some relationships with that will work very well. So I mean, if that works for you, go ahead. And sometimes I can imagine, because it brings you closer, sometimes it breaks down barriers. That's happened with us before. We don't argue, and we don't get into those situations where we're just so pissed at each other. You know, we're very fortunate that our personalities mix in such a way that we don't have that. But there have been times where we weren't necessarily super comfortable with each other, or maybe we had something on our minds that was bugging us and nagging us in the back of the head. But as soon as we finish, babe, I was thinking, right? What had happened was, and even the way that you present is like you suddenly figure out how to present the information to your mate all of a sudden, because you're breaking down barriers. It is a very important thing, and I think that it would be something that it would be wise for us to learn to use to our advantage. I'm telling you right now, bruh, you trying to be married, man, you are an endangered species the whole time you married. Okay? It's rough.
Really? An endangered species?
Bro, because there are just so many things out there that are not necessarily helping you to stay in a committed relationship. You know? Your mental space, people and things, and just life in general causes so much stress. And it becomes hard after a while to wake up and make that decision over and over again, depending on what you're going through. If you're in one of those spaces where you in the bad, like, it can just be bad, and like it's been bad juju around for the last couple of weeks. Everybody in the house is feeling, except for the kids. It doesn't matter. Everybody's feeling this bad. It's just been, and we've all been like, yo, man, I can't get out this mood. This is killing me right now. Going outside, trying to fresh air and sunshine will help me. No, it ain't helping. So if you go through that situation, and then there are other things, because, you know, sometimes things pile on top of each other, and the car done broke down. Oh man, I got a flat too, and then this happened, and then that happened, and my relatives is tripping now, and now they acting up at my job, and now me and you, yo, bruh. It's a lot. There are times when so many things are going on, and then you still have to be selfless if you have kids and give them a certain amount of attention and make sure that they're okay. It can become a lot that can wear down sex drive. Okay? Wear down a relationship. So you have to be constantly communicating. And, you know, I would say for both of you to always be in a space of, if you're in a good space and your mate isn't, try to break them out of it. Take it upon yourself to try to, like, there have been times, and this is weird, because I was always the one, she was always definitely the more optimistic of the two of us. So it's weird now to be trying to pull her out of a mood. It's new for me. It's different. And I think she responds just because she ain't used to it yet. So she be like, oh, this is new. I like this. And she'll start laughing and smiling and everything. And she'll just be like, I don't know how you pulled me out of it. That's because you never used to pull me out of it. I always was pulling you out of it. That's what happened. You know, to be in the space of, you see your mate going through and you in a great mood, try to pull him into your great mood. You know, try to shake them loose. Figure out, hopefully over time, you'll figure out what you can do to break those moods. And use that to your advantage. And, you know, you never know. They might kick you back a little appreciation. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
I'm just throwing it out there. So I didn't expect to say that much. But it was a lot going through my mind. And as it came, I just sort of spilled it out.
Yes.
So there is earlier y'all saw me say it was a lot that goes through a woman physically and mentally and emotionally that can affect it. Pregnancy is a huge one.
Yes.
It will suck the life out of your woman. And just sort of be aware that it's more than it's more than just, oh, she uncomfortable carrying a baby, and after it's more than just postpartum, which is a whole nother thing, because that's literally a psychological issue. Even if they escape all of that, like, it literally sucks the life out of them, and that includes sex drive, guys. So I don't know, it just constantly talk about it, constantly be open and unselfish with each other, and I guess that would be your best thing. And if there are things that you find that work, that, you know, turn that engine on, then, you know, I will say shamelessly use that to your advantage as much as humanly possible. And that's pretty much where that ends. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I mean, that's pretty much it. We just wanted to kind of put that out there for those of you who may not have heard that. We wanted to share that information with you.
So you can be prepared.
Or
if you're going through it, it's not just you.
Yeah, you're not alone.
No,
okay?
Not at all.
This is something apparently that's very common, but you don't really hear much about it. People be perpetrating and be like, no, we good. We good because we be over here hanging off chandeliers and stuff all the time. No. Okay. But yeah. Don't forget, guys, to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications and drop us a comment and let us know, what do you think about this topic? Is this something that you're experiencing? Is this something that you're like, oh God, yes, finally someone else?
Or are you the unicorn?
Yeah, or are you the
That's the exact opposite. I be trying to do something, he always tired. He get on my daggone nerves.
Yes, because you do exist. There are unicorns out there.
There are, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So let us know. All right. Until next time, later.
Press the off button.